It is hot. 89 degrees out, 76 in. It was 91 a few minutes ago, but it fluctuates. Really hot. We're not doing much this afternoon in these hot hours. This morning I brought back another load of the composted leaves, and then the last load of mulch. And I just pulled some off a minute ago. I got the last little bit there, and yesterday's load I put on a tarp over here because it was Wednesday and we had to go. And as I said, in the afternoon hours, it's just so hot out here recently. The sun has an intensity like you wouldn't believe. I forgot how many truckloads that is. I guess I could count my videos and tell you. And in the mulch, that I'll put on the pathways over here. Garden is just burning. It's so hot, the intensity of the sun. So I'm probably going to have to mulch the entire garden. The color has been bleached out of the mulch already. There was a lot of green in there, and the sun is just bleaching it. I just put some around the asparagus, and that'll help keep the moisture in on them. Now over here, earlier, I've been picking at it here and there, the garden today. I put our vine plants that did survive the chipmunk attacks, and then I put tin cans around them to hopefully stop digging. And I was afraid the cans might act as an oven and bake the plants, but they perked right up. Like that one stood right up and got stronger. So hopefully that'll be good. Now what I've got is ants are actually eating our plants. These are cucumbers down this way, but it looks like they're going to be okay. So there was not an oven effect from the tin cans as I had feared might be. So that's a good thing. This is all going to be our root vegetables. Half of it. The front half will be root vegetables, and the back half will be peas and beans. And Melanie's already got some sprouting, so we definitely have we'll definitely have this plot filled. And then these are going to grow out this way. All their vines are going to grow out in towards the compost bin and out that way. We'll let them run that way, and they'll be all along the edge here. And then I can also let them run out around the base of the trees and stuff out in that area. So we have plenty of room for all them. Over here I'm experimenting with solar panels and positioning of them. Just trying to figure something out. I am experimentally running a wire over to the chalet and powering some of our things off solar. There's nothing tied in to the electrical system of the chalet as of yet. I'm looking at the I'm looking at how a grid tie inverter works and how you do it legally in Michigan, and so I'm going to have to figure that all out and then find out if you need contractors for that. But for now we can play around with our own little off-grid, what would you call it, what they call an off-grid, or what they call a solar generator, which is a standalone setup. And we can power anything like our computers and our we can charge computers like I'm doing in my shed and my workshop. I have a standalone power system that is not attached to the grid. And anyway, I'm experimenting with solar panels here and see if we can reduce our costs even further by charging devices up and small things off solar. And we hope to be building, I say we because a neighbor of mine is going to, hopefully we're going to set up another rack like that one there, but up here in front of the house. So I've experimentally placed the panels here, they're just sitting there on propped up on a piece of wood to see how much or where we need to put them for maximum sunlight. Actually, I think where the car is located would be the optimum all-day position for the solar panels. Pretty much right where the car is. So I think that's probably where we're going to end up putting them. Now another optimum location is literally where the driveway is here. That gets sun all day, right on the edge of that shadow. But obviously I did not want to put my solar panels in the driveway. We could always drive in front of the garage and park our vehicles there, but I don't like the vehicles that far from the house with our trolls like we have them. That would just give them opportunity for causing trouble. So we keep the vehicle up close to the house. Anyway, we're working on all that, experimenting here, trying to figure out how we're going to set up the off-grid homestead. Things are progressing though, and I'm looking at grid tie inverters right now on the internet. So we'll get there very soon. Now you can see these two trees are already blocking my solar panels here for the afternoon sunlight. So they're going to have to go. If it wasn't so hot right now, I'd be doing it, but I burned up a chainsaw a year ago in the summer heat, and it was 91 degrees out, and I burned up a chainsaw. So I'm really reluctant to do that, but there's no wind today, so it's the optimum time, a rare non-windy day. So I'm really thinking strongly about getting out the chainsaw and popping them down, and that'll give me more solar here. Although in the shed I'm not using that much power yet, but once I get that wood shop going, I'm going to be really cranking out the power. Now right here I've got an old wood chipper. I sold a good one in New York and brought this one back. I had bought this for $20 as scrap metal from a friend, and it's an old wood chipper. I don't even know if there's a name on it anymore. Mighty Mac. Emerald McKissick Incorporated, Parker Ford, Pennsylvania. Made in the United States of America. So you know that's old. That's really old. Anyway, because it's old and rugged, and I figure it's more durable than anything new on the market, I got it from a friend. But it had been sitting out in the weather for who knows how many years. The clutch still seems to work, and the blades still turn. I don't know if you can see, I don't know how this camera yet, so I don't know how much light you got in there or not. I'm learning. The blades still work and rotate. That's leaf mulching blades, and then there's cutting blades down inside, which will need sharpening. But the problem is, because it's been sitting outside forever, the engine is seized. So I don't know if it's looks like the pull cord is sort of jammed as well. So I'm going to have to take the shroud off and see about that, and then I'm going to take the head off and see what's jammed here, and if I can free this up and get it running, then I can start processing. Another reason I haven't dropped these trees yet is when I drop them, I want to start mulching all that for the garden, but I want to have this thing running when I do it. So I'm sure this is probably full of water. There's some liquid in there. The advantage with this carburetor is that it is above the gas tank, so the carburetor itself is probably okay. There's nothing seized up. The choke is seized, so I have to lube that up. Let's see what we can do with it. Hi guys, I got the shroud fixed. It was the pull starter was just, the cord was jammed up inside, and I lubed it up and got it going. I pulled off the head and it's full of water. So this engine is really in sorry shape. See all the water? And the valve seats will be shot. They'll have to be ground. So I'm going to proceed to empty this out. It's full of metal particles and filth. I don't know where all that comes from. Gunk in the head, that needs cleaning. I don't know if I can free it up. I don't know if the rings will be any good if I did free it up. I'm going to have to clean the cylinder, so when I pound that down, I'll have to polish the cylinder by hand if I do manage to free up the rings. But look at all those rust particles. Most likely from the valves and from the valve chambers. All the water somehow got up inside the engine. I don't know how with the gas tank down here, water manages to get up inside an engine like that. I just don't get that, how that happens. But it is. So I'm going to suck that all out of there and see if we can get this engine running. Alright guys, well there's the oil and water mixture that was in the engine. I drained it out into a pan below. And using a block of wood to protect the piston and a hammer, I just beat on this very firmly. And look here. Now, I don't want to move it too much until I clean that cylinder out. But it's freed up. See, the piston moves. Now the valves aren't going to move. I'm going to have to free them up as well. But it's a start. I don't know if the cylinder will probably be good, but the valves and the valve guides will probably be shot the way it looks. So I might not be able to recover this because of the valves. And retainers, and we'll have to see how it looks in there. I hate to have to take everything off, but I bet I'll have to clean out, well, I'll have to clean the carburetor anyway, so I might as well open it up and see how bad they look inside. But the engine itself is going to be the cylinder I can clean up. I was lucky because that was right at the bottom. Well, look at this, guys. I can't believe it. For one thing, I'm surprised that up inside here it doesn't look too bad. And I don't know if you can see the motion of the valve. It's not that bad at all inside. But check this out. Look at that. Everything moving the way it's supposed to. Sorry about the shakiness of the camera. Everything moving the way it's supposed to, guys. Look at that. That's nice. Look at that. And the cylinder doesn't look all that bad. There's no scoring in the cylinder. So this engine wasn't that old. It's really not very worn. So I'm probably going to put the head gasket back on and do a compression test. And see, obviously I'm going to have to grind the valves up, but I'm going to see if I can do a compression test and see if I might be able to get this thing going. Maybe, if there's spark, I might be able to just do a carb clean out and put this together. I was thinking I was going to have to do a complete rebuild. I am probably, though, going to take off the cover and check the valve stems and the retainers and springs, because I would hate to have this thing fall apart and self-destruct while running if those parts in there, like if the spring is rusty or the retainers, if they broke loose while the engine was running, that would be total annihilation, catastrophic failure. We don't want that. So I'm going to have a look at that in here. But beyond just grinding the valves a bit, I think I can slap this together and get it running. Now eventually I will want to do a full, complete rebuild, but that's more of a winter project when I'm not desperately needing a machine to mulch my stuff and do some compost for the garden right away. So anyway, that's it for tonight. Melanie and I are going to water the garden and put away the chickens, put away all my tools and equipment, and call it a night. Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Feeling pretty good now. Talk to you later.